everybody, this is Eric, and this is Quarantine Day 18, the evening episode. I was really thinking about putting together a shadow boxing episode, but I don't know. Maybe once I start to really lose my mind here. So, things are progressing with the virus moving through the United States. There was a very large continuation of the outbreak and a large jump in Louisiana today in terms of the cases. They tested positive, and I think you'll see sometimes there's going to be situations where states are going to have big jumps as they just kind of get to different places in testing. We saw that in Minnesota, and at first it was like you had to, the Minnesota Department of Health was really having a very narrow lane for testing, but then they opened it up and suddenly there was a big jump of cases. So sometimes that can be the reason why you see that. So just remember that's not necessarily something that happened today either. These cases are something that probably are 5 to 9 days ago is when they went to the different people. So just let's all think about that. So we're not going to see the rewards of our effort if you're in other parts of the country until 5 to 9 days after you do it, and possibly even longer, after you get more people quarantined. Again, Minnesota, we continue to be at this very, very steady, slow pace. So things are not out of control here. So let's continue that. I think for myself and for Miranda and Ori, there is getting to be a bit of weariness around this. Although I am making sure to try to get out for a bike ride every day with Ori. She seems to like that. So that's just my method right now to keep an even keel through this. I just hope that we can try to figure out a way of slowly getting back into normal life, but I don't know what steps on the ladder get to come into place for that. My head, being a person who's kind of a big picture guy, I tend to think about possibilities in terms of how we get out of this, and that's just something I almost obsess over. You know, I was kind of seeing this as inevitable back in February that we were going to be in this kind of lockdown, given that we started to understand the nature of this virus back then. So now my mind keeps drifting towards how do we get out of this. And so the virus coming kind of looked to me like an iceberg. So it's very obvious it's going to hit you, and you're going to have to react in the way that works, which is to quarantine. Now we're back into a situation where that iceberg is hit. How do we repair the boat? What direction do we head? And how do we get there? So I guess my thoughts are that the only quick way out of this that maybe would have things wrapping up in April would be as if they found some sort of treatment which negated the effects of the virus at a very substantial level. I don't think that we've fully identified what that is. There are some possibilities out there. it still is a very real possibility that there could be a certain method of reducing the symptoms of this, and thus it wouldn't be so dangerous or so contagious. You could limit that somehow for the people that had it, along with very aggressive testing. Could be a way out of this in April. I think by May, the weather might help. A lot of experts have said that this virus seems to, when you have droplets, it seems to, if you have humid air, and we start to kind of get that at least here in Minnesota in May, if you have humid air, those droplets, when you sneeze or breathe out, instead of evaporating and then sending the virus essentially airborne, it drops down to the ground and stays there within the droplet, eventually settles down onto the ground. You can sometimes see that if you have certain lighting and a person sneezes, see that vapor fall to the ground, especially in the summer. So I think if May comes, we might start to see just a natural drop in the cases for that reason. And we'd still have to be cautious. And at that point, I would think that maybe we'd have some sort of screening process, like there is in some of the Asian countries that have been successful, South Korea, Singapore, Japan, where they maybe take your temperature as you're coming into a store or getting on a flight. Might have some process like that we finally accept as sort of the exchange for, we want to get back to these freedoms we've been sitting in all of April. And just psychologically, I think the society is not going to be able to take it through May. So May kind of comes to be like this. We're going to be busting out of this quarantine in some way, and it could get ugly, or there could be kind of a way out of it. And I know the official projections from federal government kind of say there's going to be this peak in April, and then we're going to get back in May, kind of following the lead of some of these other countries. So those are kind of the main possibilities that I see coming. Maybe, so essentially some sort of escape rope out in April, a cleaner exit in May of the quarantine, or an uglier exit in May of the quarantine. So yeah, let me know if your thoughts, what you think could come in. This is just things on my mind. I'm not super, I don't want to speculate for a lot of episodes. I just want to tell you that's my reality right now, is I'm thinking a lot about the future and about what that would look like. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Alright, thanks everybody. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay inside if you can.